Hello, and welcome to a moment of presence. I am Michelle from Moksha Grace Coaching, and I am here today to talk to you about a very interesting topic. It is breaking free from the quicksand. Now, maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't been there, but we're going to talk about what it feels like to be in that quicksand. And when you're in quicksand, the more you wiggle, the more you try to get out, the more you sink. And that's what we're going to discuss today, is how to get you out of the quicksand. So before we get started, since this is a moment of presence, what I want us to do is take a moment to just center ourselves, right? So do me a favor, close your eyes. If you're not driving, close your eyes. If you are driving, just kind of take a big deep breath and bring yourself into this moment right now, right here. So for those of you that can close your eyes, we're just going to slow everything down. So just close your eyes, take a deep breath, hold it for 3 seconds, and then exhale. Just let it out. I know it always feels better for me when I do that. So just wanted to get us all here in this moment. So like we were saying, we're going to talk about breaking free from the quicksand and what's really going on. How did you get here, right? No one ever plans on getting stuck in life. So what happened to get you here, and what is it costing you? And I know you don't want to go there and you don't want to really look at it, but we're going to. We're going to dive in because that's the only way to get unstuck. All right. So let's talk first about the different names, the different things that we call this period of our lives, right? It can be, I feel like I'm stuck in a rut. It can feel like every day I wake up and I just dread going to work. I can't stand what I do, but I don't know what I want to do. It can show up in mood swings. You can feel like you're drowning or you're out of control, right? That feeling that everything is swirling, life is swirling around you and you just don't know how to make it stop. There is a feeling of being unmotivated. And a lot of times you can just feel downright lost, not knowing really who you are and what you want to do. Somehow, there's got to be a feeling of loss of yourself. Now, what emotions does this cause, right? How do we know that this is exactly where we are? Well, you might feel numb, don't feel excited about anything or motivated about anything. Sometimes you might feel sad or depressed, very different from being in depression, just feeling down and out, right? You might feel tired, exhausted. You might even feel a heaviness in your shoulders, your back. You might even feel like your throat is clogged up all the time. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that is. Now, what are the different ways that this is costing you right now? Well, there's the joy of living, happiness. It might be costing you friendships. It might be costing you connection with yourself. And it might be costing you the accomplishments, the goals that you set for yourself in your life, right? No one grows up or when they're asked in kindergarten, what do you want to be when you grow up? And no one says, I want to get stuck, right? We all want to thrive. We all want to live a full life. And so when we lose that path and we lose sight of our purpose and what we want to accomplish in life, then we really have to take a look. And not that I want us to look backwards, right? Because coaching is all about moving forward. However, we also want to be proactive to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we're going to talk about that. So why does this happen in the first place? Well, like I said, in kindergarten, you don't grow up and say, I want to get stuck. So lots of things happen in our lives, right? We go through schooling. We might go to college, university, higher education. We may not, because life happened. We may end up taking a position because the right position didn't come along at the right time, or what we thought was the right time. So chaos, right, can make this happen. A chaotic life, a life that gets out of control. Again, the swirling of everything going around you and kind of just throwing you in the quicksand. So loss of control of life, swirling out of control. Sometimes people have told me, I've talked to clients and they say, I feel like I'm in a nosedive. I'm constantly, like in the plane and the nose is diving and you feel like you're going to crash. But there's ways to stop it before you hit the ground. Sometimes they feel, I hear the clients will say, I feel like I'm drowning. Everything's on top of me. So why does it happen? How many times do you put everyone else's needs before your own? Yes, that includes your parents. It includes your children. It includes your family. It includes your friends. It includes your job. But how many times do you think about pleasing other people before you think about pleasing yourself? How many times do you, before you go to do something, think to yourself, oh, I should do that, right? I should. That's like an obligation. Is it something that you really want to do? Is there a way for us to shift it from a should to a I get to, or I'm honored to, I love to do, right? That's where we want to be. Life has just happened, and it's okay. We all have those moments where we lose the connection to ourselves, to our dreams, to your life, to your purpose. And some of you may say, but Michelle, there's family, there's kids, there's expectations, there are obligations, and life is just too busy. There's no time for me. But here's the truth. If you don't make time for yourself, if you don't make yourself important, how do you expect anybody else to? Because you're setting that example of how you treat yourself. So we have to be really careful about that. And we have to look at why we're doing that. So that's the next stop. Where does this come from? Well, the bottom line is fear, right? Fear of disappointing others, letting people down, not meeting expectations, causing other people to miss out on something that they want to do, so we do it instead. Sometimes we can fear failure. We can fear change. We can fear success. I know that's really weird to say, but it's true. And when we allow fear to control our life, this is when we get in the quicksand. You know that old saying, there's nothing to fear but fear itself? I have been doing research, I've been reading, I've been looking into things, and guess what? Fear truly is the only thing to fear. The opposite of fear, it's not even the opposite, is love. And love is all encompassing. So if you think of doing anything from a place of love, then you can kind of squash that fear away. And there's techniques, there's methods, there's things that you can do to figure out how to get to the bottom of the fear and why it's there and where it came from in the first place. But let's talk about those long-term consequences if you don't do anything, if you just stay stuck and you don't move, you're really careful, you just stay there, don't move, so you don't sink any farther because the quicksand keeps rising. And we want to stop it. If we don't stop it, the long-term consequences unhappy life, missing out on life, missing out on your accomplishments, your goals, keeping your talents, your gifts, your talents, your skills, keeping them all to yourselves because you're too afraid to move forward and really showcase what you can do. And that is going to be a big regret someday, right? Because our natural gifts and talents, those are gifts from whichever flavor of the divine that you choose. And we can all believe in what we believe in, right? But we were given those gifts and talents. And so if we don't use those gifts and talents, if we don't showcase and share those gifts and talents, then are we disrespecting ourselves? Are we disrespecting the magic of the creator? You can't keep it to yourself. We're here to share and to help others and to be all that we can be. This is a pretty deep topic today. Sorry for the pun, no pun intended. So imagine staying here in this quicksand and just trying to get through life. And imagine trying to see life from this lower perspective, right? Because if you're stuck in quicksand, then you're seeing things from a downward view. You're looking up, but you can't see everything. There's stuff in the way. And so you're missing out on even the things that you see. You're missing out on opportunities. You're missing out on the real you. And that means that anyone you're connected to is missing out on the real you. That beautiful person that's within you with all of those beautiful gifts and talents. So what now? Well, it really boils down to choices, right? Every decision that you make, every yes, it was a step closer to the quicksand. It was a step closer into the quicksand. And then all of a sudden, you open your eyes one day and you realize, I'm too deep. I can't get out. I've lost touch with the side of the quicksand, with the land. I can't grab on. I can't get my footing. But here's the thing, now that you're aware, if this is how you're feeling, and if any of this resonated with you, and this is how you're feeling, now you're aware. And when you're aware, knowledge is power, now you can do something about it. So, what can you do about it? Well, we're back to choices. There's the do-it-yourself choice, right? How many self-help books do you have on your shelf? Because I have a ton. How many inspiring videos have you saved, whether it's on YouTube or TED Talks? How many times have you looked at other people and gone, what is their secret, and followed them? That's not really taking action for yourself, though, is it? It's just looking at what other people have, living life through other people, whether it's their books, whether it's their videos. It's when you take inspired action for yourself that things start to change. Because you can't live hiding behind life and in that quicksand. Now, doing it yourself, the other downfall of that is you're going to risk anything and everything getting in your way, just as it already has. And that's why it's important to make the life changes as you're taking action, so that as you're coming out of the quicksand, the land that you're now walking on is different. The landscape, the environment that you're surrounded in. Because if you get out of the quicksand and nothing else has changed, guess what? You're going to keep backing up and backing up and backing up until you're back in the quicksand again. And that's what we want to prevent that. Because who wants to keep going in and out and playing that game? Now, you can take responsibility for the choices that you've made. That's a huge step in the right direction. is taking responsibility for the steps you've made. Now, it's not a shame or blame game, and it's not about looking at anything as a regret. There's been times I was stuck. I don't regret any of it because it brought me to this moment. It gave me the inspiration to do what I want to do, which is to help others get out from where I was. And so when you take responsibility, right? These are the choices I made. I made them for the right reasons. Maybe you left your career so that you could stay at home and raise the kids. You would never regret that. But now how do you get past that? Maybe you're, a husband who had to be the breadwinner but gave up that you really wanted to do something else in life. Maybe you wanted to, be a skateboarding pro. Who knows? But you got to be the breadwinner. These aren't things we regret. We take responsibility for the choice that you made, the reason why you made it. But now let's get back to having some fun in life, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to go quit your job, but it's about changing mindset. Changing your mindset about the chaos in your life, get you unstuck and move forward. Well, how do we do that? One action step at a time. Now, I didn't do it alone. I tried for years to do it alone, and I couldn't. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that life was chaotic, and I knew that life wasn't feeling right to me, and I had to make a change. Now, sometimes we know we have to make a change and we don't move. We stay in the quicksand. And the universe, source, again, whatever you believe in, God, the creator, makes the choice for us and forces a situation. How many times have you heard somebody say, just wish I could retire early? And they never do, and they never do. And then something happens and they have to retire early. Or they get hurt, right? And they have to leave their job. So you got to be really careful what you ask for if you're not willing to take action for what you truly want. Because life will deliver. And you can't complain on the delivery method. You just have to go, okay, I chose not to do something and it was chosen for me. So the second big choice, the thing that you could choose to do, is work with a coach. And that's why I'm here, because I worked with a coach and my life has drastically changed. And now I want to help all of my clients move forward and do what they need to do. So working with a coach means that you are going to learn about accountability, right? A coach holds you accountable for what you want to achieve. A coach like me is going to help you dive deeper into the whys of the choices that you did make, unblock and unload the fears that kept you where you are, so that way you don't do it again. So it doesn't happen again. The situation has changed. The environment has changed. And a coach is going to help you reconnect to you. And the big picture of working with a coach is it saves you time. You set goals, you set timelines, and a coach holds you accountable to those timelines. So you're constantly moving forward and not looking back, because we've already cleared all that out. Let me just take a quick moment and say hi to Jenny. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. So, working together, we're going to learn how to look at what you can be grateful for. And we're going to look at where you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. And we're going to get crystal clear on what that vision looks like. And then we're going to take guided action steps to get you there. And you know what's key? You're not going to do it alone. I'm going to be right there with you. I'm going to throw the life preserver at you. I'm going to pull you in from the quicksand, and we're going to clean you up, dry you off, and get you moving into the life you really want. Now, once you take that step, whether you book the call with me, that's when we start pulling you in, and that's when things change. So you can do that and book your complimentary discovery call at mokshagrace.com. And it's just a chat. It's an action step. You're taking an action, right? And that is one of the very first things you can do to get yourself out of this. Now, doing this for about 4 years now, talking to clients, working with clients on, working through the fears, taking the inspired action so that they can get the solution that is customized and created for them. I've heard the excuses. I've heard fear speaking. And it's usually, but it won't work for me. Nothing ever works for me. I'm never going to change, right? Nothing's going to change. My family won't let me change, right? My partner won't let me change. Choices. Is that really true? Or are these old beliefs that you're telling yourself, old stories that don't serve you anymore? And if you're looking at someone else that has the life that you want, they took action. So who do you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? The other thing is, you have to look at the time, right? It's an investment. It's an investment in time. It's an investment in money, but it's simple because it changes everything. And when you can be who you really want to be, and you can do what you really want to do, and you can have fun and you can find joy again, isn't it worth it? So it's okay if you're not ready yet, because it is a choice and it's a decision that you have to make, and you have to be committed. But you're not going to be alone. But if you're really not ready, and that's the real reason that you don't know enough about me, maybe, or you're just not sure about coaching, follow me. It's cool. I'm okay with that. I want you to get to know me. So follow me. And you can follow me at Moksha Grace on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I even have a YouTube that I'm building. As long as you're not making the decision from the same place that got you here in the first place, which is fear, right? Or doing for everybody else first. And yes, I always go back to the oxygen mask. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you cannot help anybody. Anybody. And if you don't stand up and take your place in this world for what you were meant to bring to this world right now, here, everybody else loses because they don't get the best of you. And when we really love our family, our friends, we want them to have the best of us, not the one that's griping and complaining and unhappy all the time. So helping yourself is helping them, truly. So let's check comments again. Yes, fear and guilt. That absolutely. Guilt is, and when you really look at guilt, what is guilt, right? When you go even deeper, guilt is fearing that you're going to disappoint somebody or that you have disappointed somebody. And so again, it all comes back to the big F word, fear. And who wants to allow fear to run the show? Because fear doesn't know how to have fun. So let's turn that fear into fun. And let's work together and get you the life that you deserve, that you belong in. So we're going to end how we began. So close your eyes again. And I want you to take a slow, deep breath. And I want you to hold it in for 3 seconds, just like we did in the beginning. And I want you to imagine being free from the heaviness and moving forward into the life that you want, being that person that you want. And then let out a big exhale. And take one more deep breath in. And let that vision of that future you just settle into your body, into your heart. Because he, they, you're in there. That version of you is in there. We just have to get her out. Get her, him. We just have to bring it out. And we just have to get you walking that path. You deserve that. And so does everyone around you. And those people that are waiting to meet you. I love that, Jenny. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Are there any questions? Anybody have any questions? More deep breathing. Yes, deep breathing is always a good thing. Always. You should always do that when you're feeling that out of control. If you just take a deep breath and you hold it for 3 seconds and then you just let out that big exhale, you can center yourself. You can ground yourself and you bring yourself back into the moment. And in that moment, you can remember who it is you want to be. And then you can take your place. You forget to do it. Yes. Funny story. I used to have a list, right, that I would post in front of me at work of things to do so I wouldn't forget, right? So close your eyes, take a breath, or count to 3, sometimes count to 10, sometimes count to 20. And sometimes not send an email until the next day and you've been able to sleep on it and reread it the next day, right? Always important to remember these little tricks. Well, I look forward to meeting all of you, seeing you, getting to know you guys as much as you want to get to know me. I'm glad that you're here. Yes, sticky notes too. Be well. Jenny, thank you so much. Everyone else that's here, thank you. And remember, all things that have been created, they all started as chaos. If you look at the old definition of chaos, which is everything starts from chaos until it gets organized. So be well, and until next Wednesday at 5, live at 5, for a moment of presence. I'll see you then. And don't forget to have a little bit of fun. Allow yourself to have some fun. Choose fun. All right. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.